Chelsea versus Man City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to another match preview. I'm very excited for this game. Chelsea have reached two semi-finals of competition so far this season, the Champions League and the FA Cup. So it's just really an exciting time to be a Chelsea fan. Chelsea have historically done really well in this competition. So I'm hoping that tomorrow is no less. We are definitely the underdogs, but we have been the underdogs and we have beaten teams before. I really believe in this Chelsea side, in Thomas Tuchel. I believe that we can beat City. But before we get into the video, make sure to drop this video a like. Please do it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and follow me on socials. Honestly, it helps me out so much and I love interacting with you guys. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So looking at the head-to-head between Chelsea and Man City in the last 29 matches, Chelsea have won 9, Man City have won 16, and only 4 have been draws, which is really interesting. So Man City definitely have the upper hand. I think that they're the favorites to win this fixture. Like I said before, they're currently first in the Premier League. They're also in the semi-finals of the Champions League as well. They just have a really strong team, but we have a strong team too. And I really believe that Thomas Tuchel is going to be able to come up with a way in order to fight against this City team. We've seen it before that he changes his team based off of the opposition, and I really don't think that this is going to be any different. And I'm really hoping that he's able to pick the right players to start in this match and hopefully get a result, because it would be absolutely massive to go to another final of the FA Cup, and it's probably our best chance of winning a trophy this season. Looking at some quick stats, Chelsea on average score 1.61 goals in the Premier League, whereas City score 2.09, so they are outscoring Chelsea. Chelsea also are on average conceding 1 goal per game, whereas City are conceding 0.72 goals per game, so they're conceding less than a goal per game. We know that their defense has been really rock solid, but we also have to remember that this takes into account the entire season, and for a large period of it, Chelsea were conceding a lot of goals. So under Thomas Tuchel, that average is obviously a lot less, and I would say it's probably less than 1 as well. You know, that West Brom game really bumped us up there, but I do think that Chelsea have a strong defense to deal with these City players. One of the problems with City that we've seen, that's a problem with Chelsea as well, is that we just don't know who's going to play. So Thomas Tuchel is going to have to prepare these players for every possible scenario, because we know that Pep likes to rotate. So I think we're probably going to see the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, of Gundogan, probably Jesus, I think, Sterling. That defense, you just who knows really. So it's going to be interesting to see who plays, but City are really potent team. They can just attack you out of nowhere, so it's going to be extremely important that all Chelsea players have 100% concentration in this match. In terms of some Chelsea news, Thomas Tuchel has confirmed that Kovacic and Christensen are both out. They are still out. Kovacic is likely to be out for a couple of weeks, and that's all that we really know. And other than that, the Chelsea team is fit and ready for this match. Looking at my preferred starting 11, honestly had a little bit of difficulty with it, as I do every week, because I just never know which team Tuchel is going to go for. We have so many games coming up. There's a game against Brighton on Tuesday, and this really is a must-win game for Chelsea, because especially after that 5-2 loss to West Brom, I hate to keep bringing it up, but we really need to get some ground on our opponents and do everything in our hands possible, especially given that we have extremely difficult fixtures coming up. This Brighton game should be a definite win, and we have to be getting 3 points there. So it's a matter of picking a team for both the City game and for the Brighton game, and seeing who can play both games, who can be rotated. Also taking into account that a lot of players just played 70 to 90 minutes on Tuesday against Porto as well. So it's really a difficult man management situation, and Tuchel's going to have to execute it perfectly. For me, I have Mendy in goal, and then I went with a back 5 of Reece James, Aspie, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and Ben Chilwell. I think against City, we definitely need to have Reece and Chilwell, who are more defensively minded, at right wing back and left wing back, and then the center back 3 picks itself really. I think that, you know, Rudiger and Zuma have been rotating a little bit, but in the bigger games Tuchel has gone for Rudiger. He brings a grit and he can really get up and annoy defenders as well, but we might see Zuma because Zuma has really great aerial attacking ability, I think more so than any other defender. He's scored 5 goals in the Premier League so far, which is tied for second most goals, I think, which is just insane. Looking at that midfield pivot, Kovacic is obviously out. I don't think that we're going to see Billy Gilmour come into a game this large when he hasn't been playing for Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel, really. So I do think that it's going to be Kanté and Kovacic. They did really well against Porto in the Champions League. Jorginho particularly had a very good game. I'm hoping that Kanté can also get back to his best. His passes looked a little bit heavy. I just felt like they were like over calibrated a little bit, and you can tell that he was just a little bit rusty, still coming back from injury, but hopefully that game time did him some good so that he can help more going forward as well. But I think the most important thing for Kanté is just to be breaking up that City attack, which is what he really does well. Looking at the attacking three, it's really difficult to decide who's going to start. I think Mason Mount is probably a given. He's one of Chelsea's most important players. He's been starting a large majority of games under Lampard, under Tuchel, and he's been stepping up in those games, starting to score more goals, and especially really important goals like against Liverpool, like against Porto in the first leg. So he's adding goals to his game, and he's actually tied for Chelsea's top goal scorer. He's tied for the second most assists. He's first in progressive carries. He's second in tackles and interceptions. So we just see him leading in a lot of offensive and defensive statistics. So I definitely think that Mason Mount starts. So then that leaves 2 positions for 6 attackers in Giroud, Tammy, Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, and Christian Pulisic. So I'll start by narrowing out the ones that I don't think are going to play. I don't think that Giroud is going to play despite his seniority and his experience. I really don't think that we're going to just kind of throw somebody into a game that hasn't been playing all that much. The others really have had more game time except maybe Bar Ziyech. But I do think with these games it's probably important to kind of have some consistency with your game time. And not only that, I really feel like City are going to attack us and have a large majority of the ball, and we're going to have to defend and then hit them on the counter. So when you're hitting a team on the counter, you really want a fast front three, and Giroud just really isn't that. I don't think we're going to have that many opportunities in their end and just be sitting and have them defend deep unless we go like 1 or 2-0 up. So I don't think that Giroud is necessarily the best choice for this game. Basically same logic for Tammy. He hasn't been playing. Don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. Could be because he hasn't signed his contract yet, but he's been subbed off twice at halftime because of Tuchel. Tuchel says that it was just tactical, but it seems that, you know, Tammy's been struggling to get into the team and hasn't really been playing at all. So I would be really surprised if Tammy were called upon in this game. I think we could possibly see him for Brighton. So that leaves us with 4 players. 2 of them have played 2 games in a row, being Christian Pulisic and Kai Havertz. They both played Crystal Palace and Porto, so 2 games in pretty quick succession, and this one is coming again just 5 days after that Porto game. So do you play these players and let them build some more chemistry together, or do you rest them knowing that they, you know, have played a lot and they could be fatigued as well, and knowing that you also have a game against Brighton on Tuesday just 3 days later to prepare for? So it's really a difficult situation. I will say that I don't think that Pulisic and Timo Werner are going to start together, and that's because I think that they occupy very similar spaces on the pitch. They both like to occupy like that left wing to central zone. Pulisic has been playing a little bit more centrally under Thomas Tuchel, and we've even seen him on the right as well. Same with Timo Werner, but I feel like since they occupy very similar spaces, we just aren't as effective when the 2 of them are on the pitch at the same time. I do think that it's going to be one or the other. So looking at the potential pairings, honestly, I'm struggling hard. You have Timo and Kai Havertz, who can play as like a striker, false 9 type situation. I don't think that anybody else is really going to play as a false 9. So I feel like you pick one of them, and then you pick one of Pulisic and Ziyech. So with that logic, you can have like a Kai and a Pulisic, or a Timo and a Ziyech, or or a Havertz and a Ziyech, and honestly it's just really difficult to choose because they're all really good players. I think that Pulisic and Havertz are in better form than the other two, but they've been playing, so it really is a conundrum for Thomas Tuchel, and I'm having difficulty myself choosing who I would play in that front three. I think that we might see Pulisic and Havertz rested, so maybe we see a Timo and Ziyech, and it would also be really great for them to say, hey, Pulisic and Havertz have been scoring goals. They've been performing really well. So now it's your turn. You have to prove to us that you deserve your spot. Otherwise, they're going to be starting. So that could be one logic, or you could just keep with Pulisic and Havertz. Honestly, I would love to see like a Pulisic and Ziyech, but that doesn't really allow you for like a striker on the pitch. So we're probably not going to see that. Like I said, I think it's going to be one of those combinations of Timo or Havertz and Pulisic or Ziyech. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, but either way, we're really lucky that we have great players that we can bring on that can affect games. I feel like somebody like Christian is usually a little bit better as a starter than he is as a substitute, but you never know. So I think we're probably going to see Timo, Ziyech, but like I said, in my dream world, I would be starting Pulisic if he were totally fit and ready to go, but it's just a difficult one, so we're going to see how that works out, who starts. It's going to be a very difficult game for Chelsea, but Chelsea do really well under pressure. I think that they can definitely get a result against this City side, and hopefully Tuchel can add another notch to his belt. So for me, a score prediction, oh man, I really don't know. Like I'm really lost with this one. It's either going to be really low or really high. I feel my mind is saying 2-2, and then maybe it goes to penalties or something like that. But I honestly just hope that we can win and knock them out of the competition. But I think that they are going to be very strong because it's their opportunity for a trophy as well. So if you like this video, don't forget to drop it a like. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it. Honestly, means a lot, helps me out so much. And don't forget to follow me on socials because I post a lot of content, especially on Twitter as well. So thanks so much again for watching this video, and until next time, I'm out.